The alpha for Elite Dangerous Odyssey is finally here, and if you watched my previous video, you know I was on the way to a couple of missions, a heist mission in fact, which you can see on the screen right here. We need to steal a sample. Now the journey was on a taxi. We don't have any player controlled ships in alpha at the moment. It was 150,000 light seconds, took around about 10 minutes or so to get here. So here we are. I've just disembarked from the taxi. It's actually left. I'm trying to see where it went to, but couldn't actually see it. But there are some skimmers around here, probably some security sentries and whatnot. Walking down towards the settlement, Castro Manufacturing, it is completely nighttime here on the dark side of the planet, but there's plenty of light in here to help us find our way around. Now, something you may notice here is the quality of the footage. Unfortunately, the game was running in 720p. Well, actually, it was in 4K, but rendering at 720p for some inexplicable reason, maybe a bug. But that only affects the first half of this video, so do bear with it, and things will improve very soon. Now, you might have heard that. This person wants to scan me. Fortunately, this place isn't hostile toward me, and I've got no crimes against me. I haven't got anything illicit that I'm carrying, so I'm quite happy for them to scan me. And in fact, as we go through this video, you'll notice that happening quite frequently, being stopped and being scanned to see if we're actually up to anything no good. Well, we are up to something no good, but they don't know just yet. Now, up in the top right hand corner, you can see the mission. Obtain the item from Sample Containment Unit 0 in processing of the industrial production. So what we need to do is find the industrial production building. This is the command center. Just having a look through the window here. And it's actually nice to see the signs of life, see what's going on around here. Little person walking down around inside that building. I come down the stairs, had a look through another window, just for a different perspective on the same window. Now we do need either some security clearance to get in there, security clearance 1, here goes another scan, or we could perhaps hack our way in, or even just cut our way in and overpower the door, but none of those are options as I didn't bring any tools with me. Further around the settlement, find the HAB building. Some missions might actually send you into the HAB building. There's no security to get into here. Again, we're being scanned a third time so far. So another scan passed, and they're more than happy to allow me to go into this room. Even if the security clearance is a bit high, they'll still let you in, as long as it's not actually restricted. Around these settlements, you can find cupboards, containers, and such things which you can take objects from. Sometimes it's illegal to actually take the objects, other times it isn't. You can see that container there, that cupboard there, is actually locked, so we can't get into it. But I'm not going to take any of these because I don't want to get scanned whilst carrying stolen items. Now the habitation room does seem quite lived in, as evidenced here. Hopefully the glass actually fogs or goes opaque when these places are in use, but who knows, maybe in 3307 they're not so concerned about such things. Now, unlike some games, Odyssey doesn't make things super easy, and this actually caused me to spend a fair old while on this mission, but it was enjoyable. Basically, some games give you a marker, a destination, or a blue glowy line or whatever to try and find the destination location for the mission. Odyssey doesn't do that. Instead, you have to explore and find the location yourself. So we're still looking for the industrial production building. Unfortunately, it wasn't too far away. Over there we can see I&D. So yeah, the industrial building. And there's another aspect of Odyssey not putting everything on a silver platter for you. The mission text itself doesn't tell you what equipment to take with you. This comes from experience. This being my first mission, I had absolutely nothing on me aside from the starter equipment, so no hacking tools, no scanning tools, basically no way to ultimately complete the mission. Fortunately, I could get into this building because this security guard came near the door and caused it to open for me. Something which would happen again slightly further in. Now over here you can see the restricted room. This is a lab, we don't need to go in there fortunately, but if we do go in there it will cause trouble, so just keep moving. Now I did come across something that was very helpful. There's a little computer. These terminals are dotted around the various facilities and they serve some very useful purpose. Let's get this open. So it does have a mission board. We can take some missions from here. The missions will be from the faction that's actually running the settlement. But we don't want some missions. What we want to do is find the processing facility. Fortunately then, this computer can help with that. On the facilities interface, we've got access to all of the various buildings, and it will tell us what each building actually contains. Not just each room, but what can be found in certain lockers. There we can see Locker 2 requires authorization. Here's some information on the command center, and what we want is industrial production. Let's select processing, and we've now got a marker on our compass at the top telling us where to go. So that certainly helps a lot, but you can see the door is locked. Again, it requires level 2 clearance. I don't have a scanner to clone authorization codes, and I don't have a hacking tool. So I was about to leave, head to the shuttle and go on to another mission, thinking that I won't be able to get in there and therefore complete this mission. But another person was using the door yet again. Took the opportunity to sneak in. Well, I say sneak in, but I blatantly ran in there. They don't seem too fussed about me being here. And right here on the left is the processing unit. Again, unfortunately, I don't have the right tools. So the reason I was unable to complete the first mission here is simply because I came unprepared. It's quite possible there may have been something else that would have enabled me to steal that particular item within that building, but despite spending another quarter of an hour looking around, I was unable to find anything to assist with that. So back to the landing pad where we can summon an Apex shuttle and send ourselves towards the next mission. Again, click on the blue world icon over on the side there. We can choose one of these other missions. I'll select that world, and the shuttle will come and take us to the relevant destination. Now, unfortunately, this mission also required travelling at 150,000 light seconds. This is a fairly long distance, and it means the travel is going to be around about 10 minutes each time. Unfortunately, the missions themselves don't give the travel time, so it's something you either have to get used to or figure out. Basically, don't accept missions that are too far away. Now, this planet here doesn't have an atmosphere, so it's the same type of world that we get in Horizons currently on the live server, except you can see the graphics here are much improved. Lovely looking terrain.
Low temperature detected. Low gravity detected.
Yep, you heard that right. Low gravity. And it does indeed make a difference. We can jump much higher on low gravity worlds. Pretty neat. The world also has some low temperatures, which is going to need some testing, but I do believe this is going to affect the rate at which our energy is consumed by our suit, essentially trying to keep us safe. So we've now got to get to the dorm. That would be in the Hab building and steal something from Locker 14. But unfortunately, the people here are not very friendly. They're shooting at me straight away. Second reason I ultimately failed the mission then is being ill-prepared. Unprepared, not having the right equipment. But it's a case of experimentation, learning as you go. The mission briefs don't really give you a lot of insight as to what you're going to need before you actually head out. So the only way to determine this is to practice. Now, one thing I'm not sure of at the moment is these doors are locked. Are they locked because I shouldn't be here and they've gone on alert and therefore locked me out? Or were these rooms already locked? Tried stealing a few items, but you can see my shield, not my shield, I've got the shield switched off. I should have switched that on, but my armor is actually depleting down there on the bottom left. It's now coming on for 1/3 left maybe. I was actually hoping that if I could hide long enough, they'd actually start to leave me alone. But they really didn't. They just kept pursuing me around the base and tracking me down. So I was going to shoot them with my little pea shooter. I doubt I would have had that much luck, but I was spotted yet again off to the right here. There we go. And backing away from them like a fool. Walked straight into someone else. There we go, dead. Or as Odyssey puts it, not dead, but critically injured. Now, once critically injured, the game presents you an incident report where we can find some information here. Apparently, no missions are found, even though I've found all 4 that I'm currently carrying. But we want to respawn, so we can click on the continue option here. We have a vessel selection. We've only got a flight suit at the moment, no ships, so there's not a lot else for us to actually select. The financial support option is pretty interesting. Let's take a look here. This is where we could sell our stored ships, stored modules, and get some information about our loans. Again, it doesn't apply for this particular phase of Alpha, so we're going to deploy on foot again in our flight suit. We're going to redeploy at Hopkins City. We haven't been there just yet, and we're going to go ahead and confirm that. Now, in the previous video, there were some issues with performance at the previous habitation. We're on a slightly different location here, but as we're in a station interior, I wanted to just put the frame rate counter on at the bottom. We're running at a nice, pretty much locked 60 frames a second. This is ultra settings on 1440p. My PC is a Ryzen 7 5800X with an RTX 3080. At 4K, however, things are not quite as smooth, and this might account for some of the performance issues we saw on the previous video, but something I'm going to test more over the coming days. That then brings us to an end of this video. We will be having a look at a few other things very soon, so do keep an eye out for that. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.